Hey, this is Paula.
Hi, this is Patricia.
Hello, this is Nicole.
Welcome back to the Painted City and back into our conversation.
We are so excited with our lovely guest today. It's Nicole Elliott. Nicole is a yoga instructor, meditation guide, artist, and overall wonderful human being. Welcome, Nicole.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm very excited, especially because, it's mid-February. We're settling into our new year. And, to bring up this conversation about wellness and how do we keep it going? How do we keep motivated? How do we not fall back into our old patterns?
Change is something that I talk about a lot. And one of my favorite quotes is change for a change. Just to do something, setting small, attainable intentions every day, I think is one way to do that, rather than kind of setting yourself up for, I don't like the word failure, but setting these unachievable, unattainable, big, grand goals and resolutions, I don't think is really realistic or practical in this day and age. So little small daily intention setting is one way that I like to do it.
No, I really like that. One of the things that I say to myself and I say to others, especially as a social workers, we're looking for progress, not perfection.
I like that. Perfectly imperfect.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's one of my quotes, too.
Yeah.
And thanks for bringing that up, like out the gates to start our conversation.
There's so much, I think people hold so much weight and a tremendous amount of pressure to do things a certain way, and it can be terrifying to live with that amount of, or just debilitating to live with that amount of pressure to do things a certain way. And that's why I like these little mini daily mini intention settings. I'm so huge on that, that like I said, are just attainable, and that you should really celebrate when you do achieve something, even if it's tiny, like you get out of bed and get dressed one day. That sometimes to me is an achievement.
Yes.
Other days I'm doing so much during my day, and I finally lay down and I'm, give myself a pat on the back, whether it's big or small, to celebrate. Right. And
I think society has us trained that we only celebrate and, pop the bottle of champagne, if you will, for those achievements and those celebrations that are grand and large. Yeah. What you were saying here is it's for those little things, because for some people, getting out of bed, being able to, take those first few steps to make your coffee or tea in the morning, that could be a big deal for a lot of our listeners, or maybe for family members that they have,
Yeah, I know that I heard just in this past year about the spoon theory, and everyone's like, don't you know the spoons? And that's every day we wake up, but we only have so many spoons for what we can accomplish a day. And I'm like, I was talking to my own therapist. I'm like, wait, people only have a certain amount of spoons? I feel like I'm going in, I'm getting the old spoon sets that came with to-go food. I'm pulling chopsticks, I'm making I'm making it work. What do you mean? But I like the theory because, there's only so many things we can do in a day.
All throughout our lives, we go in this constant ebb and flow of ups and downs and highs and lows when life gets when you're feeling on top of the world, and you can accomplish a lot in your day, and then other days where you are in that, it's part of the chakra system, the root chakra. It's like you're in survival mode. You're just trying to survive. And I think it's normal. I want to normalize that. And I'm such an advocate for just loving yourself no matter where you are, what stage you are, no matter how high or low. And to still have hope and acceptance of what is, but also know that, you're not going to stay low for long periods of time. I will always have days where I'm extremely low. That's just what happens in life. And I have learned over the years, I have this tool bag filled with a million things I can do when I need to uplift. And whether it's art or yoga or meditating or going for a walk or going shopping or, or having a drink or whatever it is, even if one day it is getting a spoon to your mouth and eating, then be proud of yourself for doing that. That was my fault. I just slapped my legs. I hope you didn't hear that, but
It's okay. I mean,
I don't know podcast etiquette yet. I'm learning. But
Patricia and I do that all the time.
We do.
When we first started, we came and we were both wearing all these bangle bracelets,
did
and
take
all of a
off
sudden
the-
we're like jinga 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 because both of us talk with our hands.
Yes,
so
as
we're
do
like
I.
ringing, we're smacking things.
yes. Well, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, we're normalizing it because stuff happens.
Yeah.
And, I mean,
Yeah.
again, I'm very excited about talking about this. It's one of the reasons Patricia and I really wanted to bring this podcast forward is to talk about art and healing and wellness and, just kind of some of the things that we could do. And, to tell people it's okay to you have a bad day,
It should be normalized. One of my dear friends, who is also a therapist and a yoga teacher, she does sound healing as well. And she has a sticker on the back of her car that says, "It's okay to be just okay." And there's this fantasy, and things have been so glorified to see this, like to live this ideal, perfect cookie cutter life. And that's just a bunch of crap.
I call it a Pinterest life.
Yeah.
Because we see all of these
true.
beautiful, shiny,
Yeah.
not a hair out of place moment. And
Yeah.
you might have moments like that sometimes, and that's great. That's fabulous. But is it authentic? Not always. But I think it's this expectation. I always refer back to that. It's an expectation, whether it's a personal expectation, a societal expectation, that we must, look a certain way, do a certain thing, and it's okay if you can attain that, but there's people, no one is perfect. And back to your quote, what did you say?
Perfectly imperfect, but change for a change.
Change
one
for
of
a
those
change.
change for a change. Yeah, that's one of my. I will admit I love Pinterest because I get lots of
Oh, I do
yoga.
too, of
Yes, who
course.
doesn't, right? But sometimes quotes have really stuck with me and changed my life. Really, there's
You're in the right
I
place
know,
here.
There's so many that, but
Oh,
that
yeah,
change
yeah.
for a change is one thing that has gotten me up off my butt and out when I really have needed to like step out of my comfort zone, like just do something different, just shifting, just flipping your perspective a bit, and that one stuck with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's it. Everyone has their own things that speak to them.
Yeah.
I have an Apple Watch. My husband and I got it so that we could increase our movement.
Okay.
Whereas it says time to stand, and he's like, yes, and it says time to stand, and in my mind I'm like, the Cubert, bloop 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 bloop. In my head, like, I ain't standing. You can't make me.
That's so true. What's your origin story? What's your backstory? Tell us about your background a little bit, Nicole.
I grew up in Maryland in a little town, farms everywhere, farmland. I did a little town in Maryland. Both my parents are from the DC area, mom and dad, and mom got a teaching job down in St. Mary's County, and so dad eventually moved with her, and that's where I grew up. And my little brother passed away when I was little. He took his life. He was 15 years old.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And thank you. But I had no other siblings. And after that, my parents split. And my mom, I don't know, this is pretty extreme. I haven't even told you this yet, Patricia, but my mom is now with a woman. She married a woman after that. And my dad is now remarried to a lovely woman. And then I left. I eventually moved down here to Florida. I have no family here, but I moved down here and I turned to yoga to get me through some, healing. And it changed my life. I very much so believe in therapy. I'm a huge advocate for that. But on top of that, I think staying healthy and, caring about your wellness, your well-being, on top of yoga is what ultimately helped me to find peace in a place that I was very dark and being destructive and just trying to like numb myself out and be, just to survive, just to maintain some normalcy after kind of living through some tragic things. So that's what led me here. I mean, really to do what I do, and I always knew I wanted to help people. I had a really, really wonderful childhood and parents that were just phenomenal. I feel very fortunate to have been raised the way I was, and just even surrounding family. There's just so much love in my family, and I always knew I just wanted to help people and in some kind of way, and I did a lot throughout my career, my different jobs. But I found my calling in yoga, and then I started teaching meditation and sound healing. And it had such a profound effect on me and my healing journey that I just knew that was my dharma, or my purpose, to share those things. And I feel very fortunate for the amount of people I've been able to help, and to, be along their side in this, and kind of on their healing journey. And that's sort of in a nutshell.
Yeah. And Nicole, thank you so much for being open and
It's important.
transparent and vulnerable with what you endured and what you're doing to help people. I've heard from so many people that you were just this big crystal that you radiate such energy and positivity.
Thank you.
And that everyone wants to be around you.
Thank you. I didn't always. I've been very, very, very low in times of my life, and that's why I'm such, and I like to share that because it's real, and everyone goes through some kind of drama or trauma or loss, or everyone gets stressed out. Everyone's has anxiety or depression, or they have an addiction, or everyone, whether they look perfect from the outside, everyone is in their own way suffering and struggling, and if they haven't yet in their lives, they will, and it's inevitable. So I work hard in my life to keep myself uplifted and as light as I can, so I can give it to others. And sometimes I show up and I'm not always like that, and I tell them why, and I tell, I whoever I'm teaching, I want it to be relatable, and I want them to know I'm just like you. But right now, even though I may not feel great, I'm here holding this space for you, and because that's what I think this world needs, is more people holding space for other people, themselves first, though.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to put on your oxygen mask first. That's one of the first things I learned in social work. Yeah. Like on that plane, when they say put it on first before you struggle with somebody else. Yeah. I mean, there's real truth to that. And, I've always said, like, in a therapeutic or in a social work, I'm along for the journey with you. Yeah. Because, like you're saying, I'm holding space. I'm here. I'm helping. And I really love that you normalize going to therapy.
It should be. Everyone should have a therapist. I have
a therapist.
therapists.
Okay. No, I tell people.
You should. I'll go though sometimes I won't go for months to see my therapist, or I'll go once a week, and I think there are a handful of things. There's a million things I could tell you to recommend, for whatever's going on in your life. But there are a handful of things that I think are more important than anything else. And therapy is very high up on my list, as well as like getting out in sunshine, going for a walk, and being active, and like being mindful of what you're eating, and taking care of your mind and your body. It's just. But sometimes it can be as easy as going outside and going for a walk. Just go for a walk outside.
Exactly. It's so true. And for you, I mean, mentioning the importance of mental health, and so many people out there, I mean, it's almost like a stigma that, what will people think of me? What if my coworkers find out? What if all of the things that shouldn't really matter? But again, back to that word, I love using societal expectations, but how you, as a wellness instructor, a yoga instructor, for you to be so vulnerable, to show up on your good day, maybe
hard.
not so good day, and maybe a day that, gosh, I could have stayed in bed, but you didn't. You showed up for your people.
I do. Every once in a blue moon, I will feel so dark that I have to call out because I just need a day in bed and I just can't people again. Because sometimes
people
I'm
out
like
there.
in front of 100 people, and then sometimes I have like 15 people. But wherever I am, there's an exchange of energy. And some days, but the majority of the days, I do it. I no matter what always feel better afterwards. That's another thing too. Like no matter where low I am, how low I am, if I go for a walk, or if I go take a class, or if I call a friend, there's like these things just to do the thing, even if it does make you uncomfortable to get out and do it. That's another quote of mine that I love. Warrior One is the studio I trained at. I learned in like hot power yoga, this Baron Baptiste method. But I was debating on whether to do this or not, and Kim, the owner, had a big quote painted on the wall that said, "Life begins at the end of your comfort zone." And I agree to that. There's a tiny little point where I'm like, don't step that far out of your, be safe. But I do think you kind of have to get uncomfortable to be,
For sure.
Well, one of my favorite quotes is, "There's no growth in a comfort zone and no comfort in a growth zone."
Good words to live by. It's very true.
Because growth, when we're growing, when we're evolving, I mean, it's not comfortable because it's out of our safety.
And it's change. Humans do not like change at all.
Now we want to change, but it
we
doesn't mean
do.
we like it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's why the death of so many resolutions are, because we're like, we want to change, but change is hard.
It is. And I think it is very hard, but I like to look at it as like, just take this. I love that little baby step. Just take these every day, taking these tiny little attainable steps towards it and making it more practical and realistic and not so far out of your reach. And also, a lot of change is staying present, because you get so wrapped up in your head about what's to come and feeling fearful and anxious. And I think part of that solution is just to stay in this moment right now and no further. But it's practice. It's all hard. It's an endless practice, because it's not easy.
And some days all you can do is, if you walk out and put your feet in the grass, that's a big accomplishment.
Yeah.
Like, put your feet in there, just kind of go out there.
And talking about change and different things, talk to us about the different kinds of yoga that you teach and the other meditations that you do.
Yes. I have to start. My first and favorite class I teach all week is a power yoga class, and I love it so much, whether we are fast or slow. Sometimes it depends on my mood is how I teach it. But so I teach power yoga and like a vinyasa flow yoga. So, and I've got from like 18 to 80-year-olds in there. And then I teach yin yoga, which is like a deep relaxation, restorative. We sometimes hold these poses anywhere from like 3 to 5 minutes. They get deep in your connective tissues, your fascia. It's really, I call it a yoga high. You almost feel elevated when you leave. You feel like it's kind of dreamy, and it's amazing.
Is this the one you spend much of the time on the ground? You use bolsters.
You have bolsters and blocks
Yeah.
and towels, and people come in with blankets, and it's very.
You're going to see me there soon.
Yes, I hope I'm going to hold you to that, because it's
Of course.
so good. It just, you feel like you're floating afterwards. You really do, and all you're doing is laying there stretching. But our bodies just get, from stress and from years of, I don't know if you've heard of the body keeps the score. Our bodies are like this, and so if you spend an hour holding these poses and stretching them deeply, you get this euphoric feeling, and you get into these yin qualities of like ease and peacefulness. You can't be stressed when you're in there.
Somatic release.
Yes. And then a couple years ago, I added on. I really have always had a special place in my heart working with like kids and teens, and elderly people and seniors. So I teach a chair yoga class and balance, and those are what I I really, I really love teaching that power yoga the most. We do a pretty intense workout and then a little time for stretching at the end. But the way you feel afterwards, you're just kind of on top, and you feel strong and capable and able to just handle no matter what life throws your way. And it is empowering, and
You breathe better.
you do.
You breathe so much better. It's
Your
incredible.
breath, but your whole body and your mind, and you're connecting everything, and it's just
It's a reset on the body.
it is a reset every time. And there's something called tapas as one of the limbs of yoga, and it's when it's like this fiery heat and it just burns off all the junk you don't want to carry around anymore.
Love it.
You know? So like the more you sweat and work it up, you just, and I get loud when I teach sometimes when I'm really trying to get people to like release something that's been pent up and heavy and weighed on for a lifetime, you know, and it gets intense and it gets emotional, and but it is amazing. It's just, I feel like it's a gift every time I can do it.
I mean,
And-
people break down and cry sometimes.
all the time.
Yeah.
And I love it, and I'm there to embrace them and hold them and then have them move on, and like it's like kind of like setting a part of yourself free, and you know, it is. But I get that a lot. I get people are going through like
I'm sending Nicole a heart, a little heart across
Thank you.
the table. It's just lovely.
Thank you.
And I'm 100% positive that our listeners, Paula, are embracing every moment and just
Thank you.
yeah, your positivity and your love exudes through the airwaves for sure.
I'm not always positive. I get down, and
It's okay.
really, I get
Your
and
authentic
but we all
self
do.
is-
Thank you. Yeah, and like this, this is okay to talk about, but I'm like in perimenopause right now
Oh,
too,
yeah.
so I'm cranky and bitter and moody
And hot
like,
flashes and
I had
leg
such a bad
cramps.
hot flash yesterday in my class, and I had 35 seniors looking at. I had to pause in class and go walk and like turn on a fan, and like cooling myself off and drinking because I was having a hot flash and I was teaching in front of
Yeah.
all these. It was awful, but.
Because they never come at a good time.
No, the worst time possible. But yes, and despite all that, you know, I just want to say that because I'm human and I have my mood is all over the place, but I act and I do to take care of it. That's what I can't stress enough is like if you do nothing, you're gonna feel
Get the same
way.
results.
Yes.
You're not.
Yeah.
You do nothing, you get nothing.
Yeah. So I know if I want to be like this ray of positive light,
Yes.
that I have to like get my ass in gear and I have to do this and this and this and this
Yeah.
to at least bring myself up to where I can get out of my bed and go teach. And
Yeah. Well, and I think that when we talk about it, I think we have to talk about, that's why I think to you about sharing. We have to talk about it's okay to go to therapy. It's okay not to be okay. We have bad days. I mean, people are like, oh my gosh, you're so light and bubbly. And then I'm like, yeah, but, catch me on a wrong day.
yeah.
I have no problems with saying, okay, maybe I'm a bit of my villain error, because if you catch me on the wrong day, I'll be like, I'm sorry, I can't hold space for you. I have to leave.
Yeah.
And a few years ago, I started saying, I'm sorry, I would really love to assist you, but I really have to protect my yes. And that's the reason I kept saying, I have to protect my yes.
Yeah.
I learned that from you. I have
Yes.
to protect my yes.
You have to protect your yes.
Yeah.
Because people, like, if you
They're
say
energy
no.
vampires. People are energy vampires, whether they mean to be or not, but you do have to keep that place in you guarded and shielded and know your limit. So many people I know stretch themselves way too thin, like a piece of silly putty that's just about to like break. But that's most people do
Yeah.
that. I hate
But
to
we're
say
kind of
that,
taught
but
to do that.
yes.
I always tell people, like, when we start off, I think the most damaging things to us that we do to ourselves is the image in our head of what should be.
Yeah.
Like, I should be perfect. I should be in charge of the PTA. I should bake. I should work my 40-hour-a-week job. I should look spotless. I should
Yeah.
do this. I should learn how to do this.
My friend Jess says, "Don't should yourself." I have a lot of friends that are therapists. I think they're just they're the best people.
Therapists and yoga instructors
go
and
hand in
meditation,
hand,
like
right?
we are this dance
Yeah.
relationship.
Yoga is medicine. That's what I think. It's been my medicine. It's been my antidepressant and anti-anxiety medicine. And although I'm still on those, I still need this too. They
Yeah.
really are my medicine. And it makes me feel like I'm kind of giving myself an embrace, like a self-love hug every time. It's just self-care.
Yeah.
And I love that you're doing this podcast and promoting that so much this year. A friend of mine did this, who the therapist slash yoga teacher. She owns her own practice, and she's an extraordinary person, but she did an event, a healing event specifically for healers. So for healers to come and get healed, because it is important when you are in any kind of work where you're giving a part of yourself to, especially giving that like very intimate, soulful part of yourself to someone else. You have to make sure you're, replenishing it and nurturing it.
Well, please feel free when you have people in the community that do events like that to give it to us so that we can share it on our own social media.
Yeah, thank you.
And we're moving on to the lightning round.
Oh, that's exciting.
All right. So these are quick questions. You're not supposed to spend a lot of time like in the thoughts.
No.
These are not those deep thoughts. This is real quick.
Okay.
All right. You ready?
Ready.
Go.
If you could meet a historical figure, who would it be?
Oh, Benjamin Franklin.
Would you rather have a pause button or a rewind button in life?
Rewind.
Favorite food city?
Okay, I have to say Baltimore for the crab cakes. I grew up in Maryland, and there's a restaurant there. There's the crab cakes there are phenomenal.
Okay.
Nice. What was your last impulse buy?
That is a good one. I bought a fuzzy jacket at the beach, and it was just a really cozy, fleece thing. But it was a lot, and I normally almost everything I'm wearing is from a thrift shop. I am a hardcore
Love
thrifter.
it.
I believe in that very, very much.
So do we.
Yes. But we were at the beach. It was getting a little chilly, and I stopped at this little beach shop, and I found this coat that was too much money. It wasn't that extra, but for me, it was a lot of money. And as I'm standing in line, but I said I was going to splurge and get it. I was standing in line, and I found a hole. A decent sized hole in the collar, and she gave me 50% off. So I just said,
See, there you go.
It was kismet, yeah.
Kismet.
And didn't you just tell me before we started the podcast that you had a needle and thread in
Yes,
your
I
purse?
do.
So you are also a seamstress.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes, I am.
It was so great to have you spend time with us, and thank you so much. I look forward to hearing more from you and just to talk more about some of the things you have. Now, for all of our listeners, if they want to come find you, where are they going to find you at?
I work at Crosby Wellness Center. It is nested in Center for Health and Well-Being off of Lakemont and Aloma, right behind the hospital. And then that is where I do these sound bowl events, and they're free. They're going to go until June. They're free to the public, which is amazing. Go to their website for the Center for Health and Well-Being and just sign up. And then I do a meditation and mudras event there. And that's where I teach the majority of my classes. I teach a little online, and it's scattered around the community, other places, but that's for the most part where I do my teaching.
And thank you, Nicole. Hopefully our listeners out there will be able to take away what you mentioned, bite-sized pieces for wellness and peace of mind. Thank you.
All right. Thank you all for listening. I look forward to seeing you at Crosby's.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.